You do not need to physically visit Safaricom customer care shops to update the registration of your SIM card. Communication Authority of Kenya says subscribers can now update their registration details from the comfort of their mobile phones using a self-verification USSD code and online platforms. By sending the details of your identification documents to USSD code *106#, one will follow the steps and update own details. CA Chief Executive Officer Ezra Chiloba, however, says the deadline for the update remains 15th of April.
So let's have new faces, new hands, so that we give, yes, the lady, we give everybody a chance. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Gena Kirori from NTV. I have three questions. Number one, there seems to be a bit of a contradiction between what the telecommunicators are saying and the Communications Authority, so I just want some clarification. Yesterday, Mr. DG, you said that a photo is not necessary to be taken during the registration, but today the telecommunicators are saying it's a requirement for them when they register. So what should Kenyans follow exactly? For example, if I dial the USSD code right now and it tells me I'm registered, that means I don't need to go physically produce myself. So you still don't have my photo in the system. So there's that disparity. Can you please clarify whether a photo is needed or not? My second question is, if one's line is blocked, what is the process that they will have to go through when the deadline looms on 15th? What process do they need to go through to unblock their line? And my last question is for the telecommunicators. Have you considered the perverse outcome that this exercise will have if lines are deregistered for you financially? Is with the switch off taking place, is it a trade-off that is worth taking? Yeah, those are my three questions. Thank you.
The last question, I want to just repeat the last question, please.
My last question was for the telecommunicators. Have you considered the perverse outcome that this exercise could have in reversing the financial gains you've made with the switch off taking place on the 15th of April? Is it a trade-off that is worth taking?
Well, thank you very much. I'd like, yes, the lady. I'm taking the hands who have not asked the question. Please, yes, right behind Mark. Please stand up.
Zainab Mohammed from TV47. Just to emphasize my colleague's question.
I said you're from where, please, Ms.
TV47.
Okay.
Just to emphasize my colleague's question on the photo. I noticed only Safaricom has that requirement. So what happens to the old consumers?
Okay, so we'll take this gentleman, then Ms. Salkoth, and the other one.
Morning, it's afternoon. Afternoon, everyone. Dennis Shuching is my name from The Standard. I would wish to know if you, the telecommunicators, are also registering non-Kenyans, because we have Nigerians who are in the country, Congolese, Tanzanians, and Ugandans. And recently, there was a handled picture that was given by Safaricom from Nakuru, where a Tanzanian beggar was being registered. Under whose ID? Are you registering non-locals in Kenya? Because there are a number of people hawking who are non-Kenyans on the streets, but if you send the money through M-Pesa, you find that it's a Kenyan name and the person is a Rwandese. So how does that happen? And then you are protecting us, those who have registered, from some people you've not mentioned, because somebody asked and that was not answered. From who? If it's the committee guys, how sure are you that the M-Pesa people who usually register them, even after their lines are snatched by the authorities, will not register them again for their businesses of conning Kenyans to continue?
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Letina Lemoyan from K24. I have two questions, one directed to you, DG, and the other one directed to the operators. So yesterday, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance accused the whole process. They termed it unlawful, and a legal action should be taken against the same. Actually, Honorable Duale said that you, Chiloba, should not be seen just as an ordinary Director General, but as a project working for the deep state. And then my question to the operators, people die every day, every hour. What usually happens to their registered lines? Thank you.
Mr. Oko.
Thank you very much, Panadiji. I think for us to effectively communicate this, we need this in a very summarized version because we are getting mixed signals since we sat here. The operators say they have different levels of compliance, 52% for Airtel, 65% for Safaricom. Are these people who have dialed *106 hash? Are these people who have brought their IDs and photos taken? And what does it mean? Do I sit comfortable after dialing *106 and say, okay, now I'm done? Another signal confusion coming in, that if you registered before 2015, then you have to appear physically. Is this also tied to the 15th of April deadline? Or how can we put this information as simple as possible to the person, the ordinary mwananchi? Do I come before because I bought my line before 2015? Do I come because I have to provide my ID? And is this documentation requirement still tied to the 15th of April? Please, let's make this a little bit simple and clear.
Maybe one last question before you move on. For the registration under your SIM card, I noticed that you're allowed to register more than one. So is there a limit under your ID that there's a number of SIM cards that you can register, and then once you reach that limit, you cannot surpass?
Good afternoon.
Okay.
My name is Winnie Atieno from Taifa Leo Nation. My question is, you say that it was gazetted in 2015. Now, why have you waited for 7 years to tell the users now to validate their details? Thank you.
Davis here from Capital FM. I think just like my colleague has said, simplicity is very key, and for surety purposes, we are getting mixed signals. The director's CA is saying, if I dial *106 hash and the number there that features there tells me that it's registered, I do not necessarily need to go to the MNO station. But Mr. Nicholas of Safaricom, on the other hand, is saying, for full compliance, I have to submit my identity card for the photo to be taken.